Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we are back with another brand new video, and in today's video it brings me my absolute pleasure to say for the first time this campaign we are here as always to break down, react and discuss the latest Rangers game, a Rangers game that saw the champions of Scotland go out there and come away with the scoreline being Rangers 3. Livingston nil. That's right people, we start the season off with a win and a clean sheet, but it's not just this game we need to go and look at. That win over Livingston now makes it 40 matches unbeaten in the league for Steven Gerrard's Rangers team and a club record for 20 home matches in a row won. By God! We're not bad at kicking all football round. Now, before we do go any further on with today's video and get deeper into the game and break down some of the individual performances that me and they truly need to speak about for the old season opener versus Livingston, as always, if you don't mind helping the old channel out, we are on our way towards 56k. We're trying to make this season unbelievable and reach it at the same time as 56, so if you could help the channel out, that'd be greatly appreciated. But it is the time we have all been waiting for, the real football to come back. I enjoyed pre-season as much as anyone. Didn't really love the Euros, if I'm honest with you. There's been a lot of football out there, but this is the football I have been waiting to talk about, and the way the fans erupted from the first whistle and the way the team erupted from the first whistle, they really made it worth the freaking wait. And that is despite a lot of changes in the old starting 11, but once again that shows you the real strength and depth that we have. I mean, we've got a goalkeeper by the name of John McLaughlin, who was basically a season ticket holder there watching the entire game of football, but we have got this ability now to give a player like Alan McGregor a rest and not need to worry, because if they did ever get a shot on target, Big John so far with an 89% save percentage in a Rangers shirt has showed he can carry that weight when we're managing and making sure McGregor's ready for obviously the Champions League game that's coming up. But he wasn't the only one in there. I mean, Calvin Bassey, the growth of Calvin Bassey is something that's going to jump out at you right away, and it's probably going to be sprinkled all the way through today's video, because this is a laddie who we saw last season had a lot of positives, right? But we could see no really switched on defensively, still very rusty with this, still very rusty with that, but he's moving all that out the way and he genuinely looks like a starting left back for Rangers, and that's incredible given the growth he's made in one season. Never once bothered defensively, bullied and battered the entire left hand side. Now, can he put a ball on a sixpence like Barisic? No, and we will speak about that as the rest of it goes on, but you can see his progression, you can see he's an improvement, and going into this game, I'm only encouraged about what I'm going to see more from big Calvin Bassey. Speaking of improvements, that leads us on to the next highlight, which is actually the first goal in the game, and it comes about from a free kick, but let's pull it back a couple seconds before that. How is this dangerous free kick won? It is won by our boy Hagi winning the physical battles, and that's something that's been said a lot about Hagi. He needs to improve, he needs to get tougher, and he needs to start being able to handle the physicality better of our league. Well, he handled it better right there, because he's got no right to win that sort of ball that Tavernier keeps in play with a sort of looping, bouncing header. He's got no right to win it, but he outmuscles him, and then you can see that he's just there, people, right? He's just smarter than so many other players. His football intelligence is scary, man. He puts himself in a position where the guy can't get near the ball. He has to foul him because of the way the attack's gone, and from that resulting free kick, the two guys combine once again, and when you give Tavernier an opportunity to put the ball in the box like that, there's nobody better than the skipper. It is an absolute dream ball right to the back post loyal, and not only does Hagi start to heat up my melons with that first touch when he stopped the ball like that, troops, on a sixpence, he then does a wee shimmy and then fake shots it, and it sends not one, not two, but three Livingston players right back to pre-season. They weren't seen again, troops. If you go ahead and load up your computers, you check your Mortal Kombats, all three of them will be sitting in the Nether realm, because that is where Hagi sent them with that wee shimmy and the fake shot. And then what about the composure after that, right? You've just made three people highlights on Twitter. What are you going to do with it, Hagi? Well, he just takes a touch with his right foot, buries it in the top bin, and sets us on our way just 6 minutes into the game. Can you call it a perfect start? And if you saw the game, and if you watched the game, or if you were lucky enough to be at the game, you will know everything was flowing in the right direction right now. Everything was going right up to the 12th minute, where it took the first little hit of the season, where the young laddie who's now just joined Livingston, obviously been in there, the young fullback, is just getting roasted by Hagi. And I mean, he really was getting roasted. But what he comes out here and they has no place on a football park because it's not a challenge for the ball. He just comes in right behind Hagi and absolutely nails him here. And he ends up getting a yellow card, but for me, it could have been even worse because it's just a shocking, reckless challenge that he's not got any control over. It's in the back of the legs and ends up catching Hagi, who tried his best to run it off. You could see he was saying to Gerrard, please let me on, blah, blah, blah. Because that guy just loves playing football, but eventually he did have to come off the park. But before he did, there was one guy that got on the football and went, you know what, whilst we're trying to figure things out and my boy Hagi can't really run right now, let me just run the entire game. And that's of course Ryan Kent. The fact that I didn't even need to say the name, yet you all knew who I was going to mention there, just says it all. This, for me, I know I've said it many times on the channel over the years, but this is the epitome of a Rangers player, in my opinion. He'll get the ball anywhere in the park, he'll try and size up anyone, he's never scared to try and take anybody on, he's never scared to take a chance. This is everything you want, and honestly, he's simply unplayable. He was skilling, he was thrilling, he was doing things I didn't understand, and neither did the Livingston defenders, who got nutmegged twice in about 4 minutes from the spell. And he was getting kicked for pillar to post too, but thankfully nothing, touchwood, happened with that. And eventually the ball did go out after a long period of time with Ryan Kent, Dane Hings, and our boy Hagi unfortunately got withdrawn. And you know, son, I think it's a credit, even when Hagi was trying to play off his injury, he was still involved in Hings, he was still getting on the ball, he was still making us tick and look very dangerous. But almost like a light switch, the second he was withdrawn from the game because of that injury, Scotty Wright came on and it just didn't quite work just yet, and we sort of failed to take advantage of our early pressure and how good we were looking and how well Bassey was running the left hand side and how well Tavernier was putting the ball into the mixer, because he put 3 gorgeous balls into the box, but we just didn't take enough of our chances. And the longer the first half went, the more off the ball we started to look, just a little bit, because you could quite clearly see that wasn't something it was expected to make, and Scott Wright went in there and they had to tweak and figure things out. So we go into half time knowing full well Gerrard will have that sort of do, and it'll be a different Rangers team than what we saw for about the last 10 minutes actually of the first half. But didn't let what I've just said there make you think, oh, Rangers were terrible or they weren't looking impressive? I mean, Rangers were dominating every aspect of the game, but we're just missing that last bit of magic to put the ball into the back of net for the last 10 minutes. I mean, we had 75% of the ball, and Livingston we're in our final third, twice overall. So Rangers still utterly dominant and looking like champions. And looking like champions was the way we started the second half, because it was fixed. We tightened up the position. Scott Wright started to come alive, because just 3 minutes into the restart, Stephen Davis sort of pings a pass right to Ryan Kent, and somehow Kent, despite the fact that he's surrounded by people, is able to just chest the pass down over to Wright, whose volley is very close to being a wonder goal. And I went, oh my God, can you imagine Scotty Wright got a wonder goal? What that could do for that man's confidence going in to the season. Well, he didn't get it there, but he was soon about to get it. And listen, I'll be honest with you, this wasn't exactly a picnic around about this point of the game, but now that I actually think back, right, this period from when we scored the first early goal in the game right all the way through to the 70th minute where we did go ahead and grab the second goal, this large period of play was the exact period that we were all told all summer long that our team would ball it. When the fans are back in that stadium, and when the nervous energy that was there at this point, when that would be in there, that would affect the players and yous would buckle. He's only won the league because there was no fans. That is what we were told, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But once again, these Rangers players stepped up and answered yet another critic, because yes, we went a long period of time before we did grab the second goal, and yes, we weren't always at our best, but not once did we look vulnerable at all. We kept going about our business, we kept trying to go at it, and for me, that answers that BS question that's been hanging around unfairly of this Rangers team. Not once did it look like we would bottle this lead with the fans back in there. So I wasn't enjoying this period when we were only scoring goals all the time, but that's a good chunky period to silence that BS narrative that was trying to be spun by certain people out there. But we've talked enough about the second goal and the potential second goal. Let's actually go ahead and talk about it, because this goal right here honestly has impregnated me. Let me paint the picture, people. On the right hand side, Tavernier has 2 men on him. He beats one, kind of nicks it past another. He then finds Scotty Wright, who's direct, and he whips it right to your boy Ryan Kent, and he's got a wee chance here to get the shot off, but our boy was sitting here flicking the analog stick, because not only does he do the old Ryan Kent shimmy that we love here on the old channel, he also shimmies the shimmy. You know what I mean? He shimmy-ceptioned it, people. I didn't care what was going on, and I don't think the defenders or Ryan Kent did either. He shimmed this way, he shammed that way, he then eventually released the shot, and from the looping effort, our boy Tavernier, skipper, is there 6 yards out to dive up and beat the centre half, by the way, up to the ball, and it's that flicked on cushion header backwards that knocks it onto the path is Scotty Wright. And what Scotty Wright done next, people, honestly, is disgusting. It's an outside of the right fits, curled right in to the bread basket. It's tucked away. The goalies, even the Livingston players, were wanting to celebrate that goal, and I'm pretty sure David Martindale would have been celebrating as well, because that guy has class. It's a frightening goal from Scott Wright, and I feel bad for Hadji, because he at that point had goal of the season, but went ahead and got it ripped off him by our guy Wright. I'm not doing the goal any justice, people. The goal is special, and that shows you what a talent he is as well. But aye, not only was that a Scotty Wright goal, that was the second assist for Tavernier in the season already. Long live the king, and that is of course the skipper. And after that second goal, that really just finished the game and finished Livingston's complete game plan, which was to hang in as much as possible and try to nick anything. But honestly, Rangers marshalled them so well, and they never gave them nothing, and they done their jobs that well. And I mean, Stephen Davis was so vital in that. I've not even mentioned his name, but he was excellent, looking like a 21-year-old out there. I mean, Livingston had 2 shots overall in the game. One of them was for about 40 yards. I think it's actually a cross that went away way beside the corner flag, and the other one was a turning effort that nearly tickled the corner flag as well. Such a professional defensive performance at the back as well, when it looked as if it was going to be a 2-0. We had made a couple of wee changes here. We brought in the likes of Lundstrom, who I actually think offered a lot in this game. His directness, his willingness to pass, and his strength in the midfield. I think a lot of us will be encouraged with what we saw and how he helped the tempo get back to where it should be when the second half was actually gone on. But also our boy Kemar came on instead of Cedric Itten, which was a bit of a surprise, but I think it shows you where we are leaning for the Champions League game. With Roof obviously being suspended and Morelos not being there, Cedric Itten will be starting that Champions League game, so that's why he was saved. But you know, when Kemar Roof's on, it isn't as if we're choosing a third or fourth player that's not very good and it's going to be an interesting run out. No, he's top quality, man, and he's always dangerous. He was trying to get on the edge of things, but what I love about Roof is he's always switched on, and he's always moving. You very rarely ever catch him flat-footed, and that's how he ends up getting the third goal of this game. Bang on the 90th minute, where yes, it's horrific defending by Livingston, but it's only highlighted because Roof read it, anticipated, and was in the right place at the right time to slap it into the back of it, make it 3-0, and may I just say, set me up with a perfect prediction, because for once we're 100% correct. Yesterday's preview video, 3-0 to Rangers. What was the score? Well, it was nearly 4 after Lundstrom done fantastic work down the right hand side. He picks out Glenn Kemar for a tap in, but our boy Glenn must have been watching the preview and wanted me to have this small dub, as we went ahead and got a perfect prediction of Rangers 3, Livingston 0, in a game that was richly deserved, if I'm honest with you. Yes, there was periods of the play we weren't as penetrating and as aggressive, but it is the first game back. It always sort of happens, and we know with the Champions League coming up as well, I think we had more than enough to deal with it, and I thought the subs attacked the game, gave Steven Gerrard even more of a headache, and honestly, I'm absolutely delighted with it. There's going to be no negativity for me. A 3 points clean sheet record continues, a winning start, long may that continue, ladies and gentlemen. I'm absolutely delighted. In terms of a man of the match performance, again, not to Boris, and I'm sorry that I keep saying it, but for me, it's Ryan. Unplayable Kent, and I think that's what we need to start calling Ryan Kent now. It can't be Ryan frickin' Kent. That has to be retired. It's now Ryan Unplayable Kent, because I genuinely could make a 20-minute video talking about him. My mind's just scrambling with things he done with a football, but I'm not want to take up all your night. Obviously, the final scoreline was Rangers 3, Livingston 0, but before we do wrap up the recap, there was obviously a wee bit of an incident at the end where Calvin Bassett was just bullying people down the left-hand side, and Nicky Devlin kicked out him on the ground, just kicked him in the thighs. Again, it's not a running punt or anything like that, but it's still a kick out, and we've seen what it happens when you're a guy for Colombia and you do the wee things, and how much pitchforks and people are shouting and going mental and showing highlight after highlight. But it showed him kicking him once, and that was it for the rest of the coverage. And for me, That's just not good enough. I think, honestly, Nicky Devlin's reaction saved him on the park, because that should have been a red card, in my opinion, given what we've seen over the past with our boy Alfredo. But he kicked the wrong guy, because as soon as Bassey came up and wanted in his face, Devlin ran and hid behind that referee, like Vince McMahon used to do when Stone Cold Steve Austin's glass used to hit. Remember that fear in his eyes? Devlin had that, but aye. And that's all I've got to say with today's video. Make sure you're getting your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And if you go ahead and do that, I will be speaking to you very, very shortly. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have been Siege Over 92. Thank you so much for watching. That's been Rocky Boy Johnson. Take care of yourselves. All the best, and bye-bye.